Welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Wash Chain interviews on Wash TV. My name is Magdalena and I'm here today with George Mugambi, who is a Wash delegate for the Netherlands Red Cross based in Kampala, Uganda. Welcome, George.
Thank you, Lena, and thank you for having me. I'm super happy to be your first interviewee for the Wash Chain interviews. And good morning to everybody.
George, you've selected the topic of infection prevention and control, short IPC, for this interview. Why did you select that topic?
Well, I thought it was interesting to discuss something that's quite relevant to everybody. So COVID-19, as you know, is this pandemic that's affected everybody either directly or indirectly. And for me as a WASH delegate currently working here in Uganda, I provide a lot of technical support around infection prevention control. And so that's kind of the reasons why I went for that topic, because it's quite something that's close to home, and also that's really relevant for the wider community as well.
Yes, surely. Is there an interesting fact you would like to share with us about that topic?
Yeah, so I've been reading quite a lot, or trying to read a lot on the literature that's coming out. As you know, COVID-19 is quite a novel virus, and there's not that so much guidance around it. So there's a lot of literature that's trying to come out every week, every month, and I'm trying to stay up to date on that, specifically around infection prevention control, and specifically around this thing called fomites. So fomites are basically these objects that are likely to carry infections, such as clothes, your phone, utensils, etc. And one interesting thing I found out was that the virus can remain viable on different surfaces for up to 72 hours. For example, on plastic and stainless steel, it can remain viable for up to 72 hours, and also on the outer layer of your medical mask. So for example, if you touch it with contaminated fingers, for example, it'll be able to survive there for 7 days. So it kind of makes the whole aspect of infection prevention control super important, especially for the WASH community, but also for us in our own personal lives, and how to ensure that our homes are sterilized, and that we ensure that we are regularly washing our hands and cleaning these surfaces, these fomites as we call them. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. George, if you had magic powers, is there anything you would like to change about IPC, or how would you change the way we work with it?
I'd love to have some magic powers. I think we all do. I think specifically around IPC, I would look to trying to change the approach from a reactionary approach to a more proactive approach. I feel like everybody was reacting to IPC in terms of specifically around hand washing and wearing of a mask when we had the pandemic or during the outbreak. Whereas I think it will be more effective if those habits were picked up before any outbreaks. So for example, we know there's different countries that generally wear masks when they have, for example, influenza or the flu. In those specific areas, we've seen a considerable reduction, or in terms of the transmission, it wasn't as great as areas that were trying to adopt those IPC measures. So I feel like if we had more of a proactive approach at an individualistic level, for example, if I have a flu, I generally would have to be washing my hands regularly, trying to avoid close contact with people, so of course I don't infect them, and of course trying to wear a mask if you feel like you are infectious. So I think those things generally are with us right now, but I hope they remain with us even after this pandemic, because we would be able to kill two birds with one stone, and there's so many other diseases that have the same transmissibility, and we'll be able to reduce those disease outbreaks.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm sure you could tell us much more about IPC, but since we want to keep it short, I'll already stop here with the questions. But as you know, I've prepared also funny questions so we could get to know you a bit better. George, what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Okay, wow. The weirdest thing I've ever eaten. I once went to Zambia. I think I went on a mission there as a WASH mission, and I remember I ate caterpillars. It was, I think they were fried caterpillars, and it was a very distinct taste. It was like the taste between meat, like meat and chicken and something else. It was like all the meats combined into one. A very distinct
Wow.
taste, but actually quite good. Actually, I think I should pick that up as a delicacy. So that's the weirdest thing I've ever eaten: caterpillars.
Wow, wow. Well, thanks for sharing, George, and thanks for being our very first interviewee on the Wash Chain interviews. You'll continue that chain and interview a colleague next, and we're already looking forward to that interview very much. Thanks, George, and
Thank
have
you
a
so
good
much,
day.
Lena. Thanks so much, Lena. You too. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye. You stopped it?